The video games are back.
It's true.
They have descended upon the world.
Uh-huh.
We don't have E3 anymore, but we got Key 3.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady
Hello.
This is episode number 286, and we're going to talk all about games that were talked about at the Summer Game Fest and a bunch of other little presentations
Adjacent
that
things.
popped up along the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly focusing on some the bigger stuff that we are more interested in, because there was a bunch of presentations over the past week and a half, week or two.
Mm-hmm.
But we only watched the more of the bigger ones, so we'll focus in on those in particular. Because even without just those, it would just be we would be here for a long time talking about video games.
All night long.
All night long. But yeah, let's dive into this.
Should we
Basically,
mention beforehand that Jeff Keighley was like, you need to temper expectations.
temper your expectations, please, for the Summer Game Fest.
I was like, all right, well that's a good way to start, I guess.
So yeah, basically a similar setup to last year where, there was some presentations just scattered throughout the week or two of this. Some of the major players are here, some are not, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nintendo didn't do a thing, but they might do one at some point in the future. Who knows? They're Nintendo, they're weird. Ubisoft didn't do a thing, but they did an Assassin's Creed thing this morning as we're recording this.
Oh, no.
There's a Final Fantasy thing, or Final Fantasy 7 thing, I should say, this week, later this week.
Yes.
Which is probably just going to be, hey, we're going to talk about Ever Crisis, I would assume. And also, hey, it's the anniversary, so we'll have some merch.
The FF7 remake Twitter used their hashtag, so people are thinking maybe something will show there, but I highly doubt it's anything substantial.
Yeah, I feel like they don't want to promote that and 16 at the same time.
No, I'm just saying that I think that if we get something, it's not going to be anything substantial. Like it might be like a small trailer or something.
Or just hey, we're making this.
Which everybody knows.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
still.
we may, if there's anything substantial, we'll talk about that next week. But for now, we can't because we were recording this before that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's dive into the presentations that we watched. We watched the Sony State of Play, which happened 2 weeks ago now? Ish.
Yeah.
It was kind of the unofficial Kickstarter of this, and for once, it was a State of Play that was actually kind of decent.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It came away from all right then.
All right. It wasn't all those versions you're just okay, sure.
Yeah, that sure did happen.
Yeah. They kick things off with the first trailer for Resident Evil 4 Remastered. Or remake, or whatever they're going to call it. It's just Resident Evil 4, I think, right now, but it's the remake of RE4. It is obviously going to be in the RE engine, so it's going to look very nice. It is very weird to hear Leon without the RE4 Leon voice, but the RE2 Leon voice now, so that's a little different.
Yeah. And the RE2 Leon look too. He's very obviously based off that same guy.
Yeah.
Although now he's got deep eye bags. He's obviously a very
tired boy.
tired boy.
Yeah. They didn't show a whole lot, obviously, because it was just the first initial trailer. I think that's coming out in March of next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a whole lot to really go off of on it, especially because they didn't show a lot of the weird stuff in that game, which I guess you probably aren't going to show that off initially, but hopefully we get a lot of that weird stuff in that game kept intact.
I hope so.
And hey, if they just they modernize the combat in that game to more how it was in 2 and 3, that would be a good version of Resident Evil 4 to play.
Yeah. As long as I really hope they don't take, because they said it I think it was during the Capcom one. They said that it's a reimagining, and I'm like,
yeah,
that word scares me. But I do think one thing that's clever and nice, that I I know that a lot of people were fussy about, but I was like, hey, that's a good touch. Um, Leon and Ashley are in their original concept art
Mm-hmm.
outfits. And I was like, that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, maybe some of these outfits are somewhat impractical or weird looking. Let's maybe make it more practical. And people are mad, I guess, because I can't look up Ashley's skirt now.
I'm curious to see if they include like all of like the bonus stuff that they like added into RE4 along the line.
Like the Chicago typewriter and the armor,
Well, like that and like the
the
side
Ada
stories, like
side
the Ada
story.
stuff and like all that they I think eventually added with like the PS2 version or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because
Um,
the Ada stuff is actually kind of important.
yeah. So I'll be curious to see how that's going to go. I mean, that's less than a year away, so we'll be seeing more of that presumably over the next couple of months until it comes out next year. But yeah,
I'm excited.
interesting thing. Yeah, I can't wait to.
Cautiously excited.
Yeah, I want to see terrible little Lord boy
Yep.
in Super HD, and also like I want you to see the what are they called, the reanimators or whatever.
Oh
Those are
God.
gonna be messed up.
Oh no. The little pug breathing is probably gonna be super terrifying with those guys.
And having a knife fight in HD.
Well, and even think about like those big claw boys
Yeah.
that are like blind to go off the side. Oh my God.
They can really do some messed up stuff with that.
Yeah, they can.
Um, After that, we got into a bit of a PSVR 2 block. They showed off that they are putting Resident Evil Village on PSVR, which makes sense. A lot of people love like the Resident Evil 7 and VR stuff, so putting
Mm.
that in VR makes a ton of sense. Um, they're putting out another Walking Dead Saints and Sinners game on PSVR 2. Everyone's like, all right.
I must have like zoned that part out because I totally don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hmm.
No Man's Sky is getting PSVR 2 support because No Man's Sky will not die.
Nope.
They will keep pumping updates of that game out until the end of time.
Yep. Sounds about right.
And they're putting out a specific Horizon game for PSVR that like is a side story and all that sort of stuff, which is strange. They're putting out some new content for Horizon Forbidden West because remember that game actually came out and of course once again came out and got its lunch eaten by another game that was way bigger and more received by people.
What was it?
Elden Ring came out at the same time I think as Horizon Forbidden West.
Nahone, I forgot.
Yeah. So that's getting some updates. They're putting out the Marvel Spider-Man game on PC along with the Miles Morales game, which I feel like some of these were jokes, but apparently there are some Sony fanboys who are very upset by that. But whatever.
Really?
It's the internet. You know how it is.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
They showed off some of Stray, the kitty cat game.
Yay, kitty cat.
They were in like a cyberpunk dystopia, but you're a cat.
You're a kitty cat. And dance,
Um,
dance, dance, and dance, dance, dance.
we got our first bit of space horror that's going to become a theme throughout these shows with the
Yeah.
Callisto Protocol, which is very Dead Space like. It is unfortunate that this game is no longer in the PUBG universe, but it's now just like here's a spooky space horror game. Roller Drome is like, what if we made Jet Set Radio but you could shoot people?
Mm-hmm.
Seems interesting. Eternights is something. It's like a JRPG slash dating sim. You can press R1 to hold hands.
Cool.
Yeah. They showed off a lot of Street Fighter 6, including like open world esque type stuff.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
They showed off some gameplay. Obviously, this game is also like playable for press and other people as well. Showed off some new characters. Then eventually, like the roster leaked as well. So it's like here's all the characters that are in Street Fighter 6, and you're just like, all right, cool. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter characters.
Yep.
Looks nice. I like the weird paint motif that happens on like special moves and stuff like that. Like that seems real cool.
Ryu's a unit.
Ryu is certainly a unit.
He's on that Chris Redfield brick wall diet.
He is, yes. It certainly looks better than when they first initially showed off like Street Fighter 5. So that's I think that's a positive in there for them right now. So yeah, that's also coming out next year. But
So
Street Fighter.
question.
Yes.
So I heard in the leaks that Cammy is going to be there.
Yes. She has like a new costume that's not
Uh,
as like hypersexualized as the old ones are.
okay, so that was my next question is like countdown to how long the internet edgelords get mad that she's wearing pants or
Oh,
something.
I think that's already happened.
Oh, has it? Okay, wow. Well,
I mean, I can
great.
show you the leak roster if I can find it real quick.
So she did get pants.
Let me see.
Good for her though.
Copy image link. Open up this. Oh,
Oh, oh.
exit. Where's the chat? Chat's right there.
Chat, chat, chat.
Paste. And there you go. You can see the leaked roster. You can also see how Ken looks like he just lost all of his NFTs. And is real bummed.
Why is that so accurate? Oh my god. Okay, wait a minute. I get to be the internet mad person for a second. You ready?
Okay.
Who gave Zangief pants?
Look, he's old.
Wow.
He's getting old now. Like okay, so in terms of a wrestler, there's a lot of times when wrestlers get older, they switch from trunks to long boys.
Really?
Yes, so that's kind of accurate, honestly.
Okay, okay. I like
Like,
the
he's trying to
Dalsim actually looks like a grandpa.
Yeah, he's just skipping the leg day now every now and then, so he's got the upper body though. He's gonna suplex you to back.
Oh, I believe it. God, Guile's hair is just stupid ridiculous
It's
now. Like
bad.
it's always been ridiculous, and now it's stupid ridiculous. Okay, yeah, Cammy has pants.
Yeah.
And she's got a little crop top on, so
Yeah.
I mean her outfit is a lot more practical than it used to be.
True. I find it
Um,
interesting that like Chun-Li's outfit is kind of like a mix of her traditional outfit, but like also the Alpha outfit.
I was just about to say that is it's like a mix between alpha and traditional,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
I like that. Um, Jury just looks like she's wearing the same outfit she's always been wearing. Like it literally looks like a copy paste. All right. Well, that's
Yeah, looks fine.
I'm surprised that there are not more like older folks in there,
Well,
but
they'll eventually come out as like DLC
oh, right.
because they will pump the heck out of DLC for that game, like they did with the other games. Essentially,
I think my favorites are Dulcim being grandpa.
I think he was a little bit like Grandpa-ish in 5 as well.
Was he quite this grandpa though?
He was like older. I think he had white hair then as well, but I don't remember for sure. But yeah,
And your NFT Ken joke is just
it's pretty good.
perfect.
No M.
Anyway.
Bison, no, because he's dead. Because this is post 3, I think, so
Yeah, ripperoni and pepperoni.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Do more interesting things with Street Fighter instead of just being like, oh, we can't go past 3 because we killed off Bison, and oh no, what do we do?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Anyways, back to Sony. They showed off that Tunic is coming out later this year. They showed off Season, which was like an artsy indie game looking type dealio.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended with Final Fantasy 16. Yoshi P was like, hey, here's Final Fantasy 16. Things in the world have happened that we've kind of had to not work on this game as much, but also here you go. Here's a trailer.
Yep.
Interesting trailer. Very
Yeah.
much still going in the action RPG sense, but also like you don't hire the combat designer from Devil May Cry 5 and not make that kind of game.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Because that is very much what that combat looks like, which is cool.
Yeah.
There's also like giant summon battles where you're just like fist fighting or stuff. That looks real neat.
Yep.
There's in a Final Fantasy game.
What?
There's a scene where there's 2 characters that are like topless after they did the deed.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
But yeah,
Oh
it looks
my.
nice. I think the combat looks interesting. It's obviously definitely a departure from traditional Final Fantasy, as we said. So that's
Yep.
going to make some people, not as happy, but like this is the direction they're going in. It is, unfortunately, what they're going to do from now on.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks cool. I'm interested to see how that shapes up. That's coming out summer of next year. They put a time frame on it, which is a little bit further out than I was expecting because I think they said like, hey, this game's basically playable all the way through right now. We're just doing bug testing and getting everything, tightened up and everything. But also, it makes sense that you don't want to be like, oh, it's coming out this year, but then have to delay it till next year.
Right.
So it gives them a little bit more wiggle room, and also
You
as a way to not have to like super crunch or anything.
you would rather do a Xenoblade 3 situation of like, hey, here's your window. Oh, you know what? It's done sooner than we thought. We'll release it earlier. Like you'd
Mm-hmm.
rather do that than have to keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back.
Correct.
It's the way to do it, guys.
But that was the Sony deal.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Mm-hmm. I believe up next was the Summer Game Fest, right?
Sounds right.
That does sound right. There was a lot of games shown off here, obviously. Their big reveal at the end obviously got spoiled beforehand, which was very funny. So that's a thing. I feel like a lot of these, I'm just going to not remember what they are because like there's just so many games and a lot of them just kind of felt the same.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
But yes, this is the Keeley show, obviously. They opened up with more Street Fighter 6. Was this where they showed Guile?
Yeah.
Okay, so they showed Guile off here,
His stupid hair.
and he's sure is Guile.
Sure is Guile.
After that, they showed off. They premiered Aliens: Dark Descent because we got some space horror for y'all.
It's the year of the space horror.
This game at least looked a little bit more interesting because it wasn't just another Aliens first-person shooter. It's like a isometric, I think, game or something like that. It was different, I guess, was the thing. That made it a little bit more interesting than just here's first-person space horror.
Right.
They showed a extended trailer of the Callisto Protocol trailer they showed at Sony, which had more gore in it. That was literally how they basically promoted that.
Yep.
They showed off some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, not to be confused with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Because this has 2 in Roman numerals instead of the numerical 2. That's how you tell the difference.
God, I hate everything.
But they showed off like a very extended trailer for like the single player, which is like always weird because like there's a lot of people who just don't play those single player campaigns. They're just there for the multiplayer.
Right.
So like I get like you want to show off that you've done some cool things with your single player, but like not a whole lot of people really want to play that.
Right.
So it's always weird. But yeah, they definitely talked about that for a good long time. It's Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. Can we just call it Call of Duty Modern Warfare II?
I.
II.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare Furihata II.
There you go.
They announced that Flashback is getting a sequel of all things, which is very weird. I guess if you're like, man, I really want to play a sequel to a Genesis adventure game, then yes, hello, we're here.
Yep.
They showed off a game called Witchfire, which I need to click this link to see what it is because I don't remember.
That.
It's gonna be something. Let's see, Witchfire. It is a dark fantasy roguelite shooter. Oh, this is, I think, yeah, this is a. This is made from the people who did like Painkiller, Bulletstorm, and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So it's like a first-person shooter with like fantasy and dark fantasies type of stuff.
I see.
Spooky stuff. After that, they showed Fort Solis, which I have to click on this link again to see what this is. I'm guessing it's space horror because the first image is a moon.
A moon.
It's a single-player, third-person thriller set on over one long night on the far side of Mars. Oh, this is the one with what's his face? Troy Baker in it.
Oh.
Because they brought those guys out. I was like, here, your guys are the actors in it. Forget who's making the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more space game.
Yep.
They showed off a game called Routine, which is very routine.
Oh.
Hey, I'm waiting for this link to load. It is a first-person sci-fi horror where you're in an abandoned lunar base.
What?
More space horror. After that, they showed off like an expansion for Outriders, because that's still a thing. They showed off a game called Stormgate, which is the most generic title ever, but I think this is like the ex-Blizzard people, which are just making another RTS game.
Yeah.
They showed off a game called High Water because you gotta put your high water
I'm
jeans
gonna say
on.
some pants.
Yes. Um, this is a game where like you're in a version of the world that's been flooded, but it's also I guess a turn-based strategy action game or adventure game. I remember the trailer kind of for this, and it looked interesting, but it's also a strategy game, and I'm not gonna play that. If I'm
Correct.
being real.
No,
Uh,
correct.
yeah. They showed off Replaced. I don't know if they showed us off or they just announced, hey, this is getting delayed till next year or something. Or maybe this is a different game. This is a 2D sci-fi action game that has a really neat pixel art look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. After that, they showed off American Arcadia, which is like, oh, I forget what this. I remember this trailer for this being weird. It's very like retro styling. Oh, it's like a game show where you have to like also find like the truth of what's actually happening in this world.
Mm.
And Yuri Lowenthal's in it.
Improvement over Troy Baker.
True. They announced Goat Simulator 3, which is also they announced it by parodying the Dead Island 2 trailer, which is a very weird just pull
Yep.
to go from. But yeah, Ghost Simulator 3. If you're asking where Ghost Simulator 2 is, it didn't exist because they just ripped off the McPixel joke, which is unfortunate.
Rip.
They showed off some more of Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is their XCOM Marvel game. That's the thing. They showed off the Cuphead DLC, which is coming out, I think, in like a month or two, or in a couple weeks or something. Soonish. It is more Cuphead.
Mm-hmm.
If you were unaware, they showed off Neon White, which is like anime first-person shooter kind of thing,
Weird.
and cards are in it.
What's in it?
Cards.
Thought you said cars.
No, not cars.
Vroom.
They showed off a trailer for Midnight Fight Express, which is a single-person team, I think, and you fight a bunch. They showed off some stuff about Warframe and what's coming up at TennoCon. If you're into the Warframe. They announced Honkai Star Rail, which is a new game from the people who make Genshin, because it very much looked like Genshin. I believe this is a turn-based JRPG, but I'm assuming at some point they're going to have gacha in it because the other Honkai mobile game is a very much a gacha game, and
Right.
obviously like Genshin is a very much gacha game, so
What?
it looked nice. So there's that. They showed off Casey Jones being in TMNT Shredder's Revenge,
Yeah.
which that game comes out this week, or it's already out when you're hearing this.
Ooh.
They did a trailer for Super People, which is a superpower battle royale game that I've seen people play, and it looked bad.
Yikes.
Did not look good. Humankind is getting a Cultures of Latin America pack. So now you will learn about the cultures of Latin America.
I'm sure you will.
Yes, exactly. One Piece is getting a JRPG called One Piece Odyssey.
Yeah.
I know you're so excited. The big One Piece fan here.
Woo. And I'm gonna be on the ocean.
Yep. They showed the English dub of the Soul Hackers 2.
Yes, they did.
That was basically it.
Mm-hmm.
They showed off a trailer for Metal Hellsinger, which I don't remember what this was, so let's take a look. Oh, this is like
Soul Hackers coming out on Xbox as well, which is kind of a thing.
Do what?
Was it Soul Hackers also coming out on Xbox, which was kind of a thing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Metal Hellsinger is a rhythm-based FPS with a bunch of like metal artists in it, like the dude from System of a Down.
Oh, I remember that now.
That game.
That game.
They showed a little bit of The Quarry, which is already out. That is the new Supermassive game that is another take on teen horror. They showed off Nightingale, which is also a video game.
What?
I know. It looks like it's a fantasy game, but also like you can shoot things. So you got that
Did
going
we
for you.
did we bring up the fact that Doy the Rock Johnson was there?
Oh man, I forgot we got to talk about Doy the Rock Johnson. Enjoy your gaming.
Enjoy. I am in the gym.
He's in the gym. He's clanging and banging. He's got to promote all his stuff. He's got his energy drink, the XFL, Fortnite, his production team, Young Rock, whatever else he's doing. And he was just like, "Here's a trailer for my movie."
My movie.
That's it. I was like, "All right, thanks, Dwayne."
That was so fun. It took me a second to
Dwayne.
figure out when they announced like Dwayne Johnson. I was like, who is that?
Oh my
And then
god.
it took me a second. I was like, wait a minute, I know who that is. That's Doy the Rock Johnson.
Someone in one of the Discord servers was like, "Why aren't they calling him the Rock?" And it's like, dude, they don't call him. They haven't called him the Rock. Like, he doesn't go by the Rock anymore.
No, he does not.
He's Mr. Dwayne Johnson.
Unless I'm referring to him, in which case he's Doy the Rock Johnson.
You know, he was getting his fit. He was getting ready for the gym. He's going to go out later and go out in the lake, catch a couple of mutated freak fishes because you're such a candy piece of trash.
Oh boy. Anyway, sorry, I forgot that we didn't mention that.
You know,
Continue
it's a good thing
on.
you brought that up. Enjoy your gaming.
Thank you.
After that, they showed off Saints Row, the remake. They also showed off the character creation demo that you can get right now, where you can
Oh my
create
god.
your character.
You made a monster.
I did, but also it's like I wasn't able to make him as messed up as I would have wanted, like I could in like 3 and 4.
Right.
Which
You
is
made
kind of
some
disappointing.
really, really monstrous people. I joked that the guy that you made, he definitely looks like he listens to Aerosmith.
He does. He's real messed up.
But yeah, he's not as weird looking as the other guys I've seen you make before.
Yeah. But yeah, you can download that now and make your character before the game comes out. I think if you like share it or something, you get a couple like piece of or items you can get in the game when it comes out as well. But yeah, that's all it is. It's literally just a character creator, and that's it. They showed off Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, which is another Warhammer game.
Mm-hmm.
They showed off a little bit of Gotham Knights. Hey, Batman's dead. And now the Bat Kids have to come together to save Gotham.
That was wild to me. They're just like, Batman's dead. Like, what?
See you later, Batman.
Sucks to suck.
And then they brought Neil Druckmann out, and he was like, "Hey, we're making
Ugh.
a television show. Also, we're making a standalone multiplayer for The Last of Us Part 2. Also, we're remaking The Last of Us Part 1 because we really want your money."
Also, here's Troy Baker again.
Here's Troy Baker again. He's going to get mad if you say anything bad about this game online.
Yep.
But like we said earlier, that got leaked before the show aired, so that was their big ending, and everyone already knew about it.
Well, and also, like, we were talking about it when it ended. We're like, God, that's such a wet fart to end it on. Like, this is a game that came out on the PS3,
And it's out on the PS4.
and it's out on the PS4, and that's what we're, like, ending this with is a remake, quote unquote, of that. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yep.
Yikes. And then he's like,
Yikes-a-roni.
oh, I'm still working on other stuff, but I'm not ready to talk about it. It's like, I want to kick you to the moon. Get out of here. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So yeah, after that, I think was next up for us was Xbox.
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 I
The
just
Xbox
spit on
Bethesda
myself
Game
because of that.
Showcase. Thank you. You're welcome. They began their presentation with Redfall, the new who's doing that game? Arcane game, which is like another PvE 4-person co-op kind of game, which is I think it's going to be interesting to see how that game does cuz Back 4 Blood came out and that game kind of came and went.
Yeah. This trailer, I was joking with you. It's like it has some what of a like how do you do fellow kids?
It had a lot of good fake banter in it, and everyone just there was like at least 7 times where someone just said, "Oh."
Oh. Oh.
That was real fun. But yeah, I mean, it looked okay.
It's like one of the characters literally has this whole thing about like student loans as her like character tagline. It's like,
Yeah.
really, guys?
Yeah.
Really? That's what we're going with?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways. Hey, Hollow Knight Silk Song actually exists.
It actually exists.
I was surprised it showed up here of all places.
Right? Right? I was so surprised.
But also they're like, yeah, no date by the way. See you later.
Goodbye.
They did say that basically everything here is supposed to come out in the next 12 months, so you would think that's a positive that this showed up here, but also they no date at all on it. So the Hollow Knight fans still got to be waiting for a good while. After that, they showed off High on Life, which is a new game from the dude who made Rick and Morty.
Ah, so that's why it seems so Rick and Morty-ish.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that makes
Your
a lot of
guns
sense.
talk to you.
Yep.
They do a lot of quips. Then they were like, hey, we got a message from Riot Games. So everyone's like, ugh.
Ugh.
But also, like, all of the Riot Games stuff is coming to Game Pass, which is a pretty wild thing.
Yeah.
You can play League on PC Game Pass and have, like, all of the characters unlocked, and then all their other games, like Valorant, and then their League of Legends side games as well, are all coming to Game Pass later this year.
Mm-hmm.
They probably spent a pretty penny on getting that.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit. Microsoft at this point is just like you money.
Yeah, essentially.
So they're just throwing money at things and like, all right, cool, we have this now. And it's like, all right, you sure do have that now.
Mm-hmm.
For
Just
better or
necessarily
worse.
the best thing in the world, right? But yeah, it is a thing. They showed off a Plague Tale Requiem, which is the rat game.
Rat.
If you want to see some rats. And then we got to see some cars with the premiere of Forza Motorsport. No number this time because I guess they're just rebooting it.
Oh.
It looked really good. Them cars looked really, really nice. We talked about this, I think, a little bit afterwards, but like one of the features they talked about in this was like, they're doing dynamic time changes and all that sort of stuff. So you'll see how it changes like the lighting over the track and everything, which, yeah, sure, that makes sense. That's been a thing in a lot of car games recently, especially because like, you do time manipulation, I guess you could say, in terms of like having like time speed up if you want to simulate a long endurance race and have it kind of feel like that, but only in like the course of like an hour or something like that. But the one thing they mentioned in this that was really interesting to me, because it really hits like that simulation threshold that a lot of even like Forza or Gran Turismo doesn't hit. This is more like hyper simulation type stuff, is that they're like, as the time changes on the track, like once you go from like day to night, the temperature on the track's going to change. It's going to be constantly changing. So like once you get to night, the track temp is going to start cooling down. You're going to have more grip in your tires. If you're racing in the middle of the day and it's real hot and the track temperature is real high, the track surface is going to be real slick. You're not going to have as much grip on the tires. So like that aspect of this seems really, really interesting. And I'm real curious to see how they're really going to pull that off, if they pull it off well, or if it's kind of just a little bit of a gimmick. Mm-hmm. But it's cool that like that's one of the features they're kind of coming out and be like, yeah, this is what we were trying to do for this game. Because, it's a car game. It's a simulation car game. Like, how much can you really like say about it other than, hey, look at these cars. They look fantastic. And here's some tracks.
We got some cars.
Throwing in something like that's going to appease to like that audience, I think is real smart and just an interesting thing that they're going to try and do for this game in particular. But yeah, that's coming out spring next year, which I thought was surprising because usually Forza is fall. So a little bit longer on the wait for that. Microsoft Flight Simulator is getting a new expansion where you can fly older planes. They're also doing collaboration with the Spirit of St. Louis and like the Air and Space Museum, which you were also mad about.
That's what I was going to say, is that like this is probably one of the only times in any kind of game conference that somebody's going to get text messages like, man, Charles Lindbergh, Spirit of St. Louis. Nazi.
I mean, yes,
video
but
games.
I did find it interesting that like they were like, yeah, we're collaborating with the Air and Space Museum for this.
Yeah. I mean, like it makes sense because they have the airplane, so it'd be like a good way for them to be able to model it.
Right.
Like it's literally in the building. I walked by it every day for 3 months.
Yeah.
And did a casual little middle finger at it, but it makes sense, like if they need to do like pictures or scans or whatever they need to do, that they would collaborate with them.
Totally.
But yeah, also Once again, just in case anybody is wondering, Charles Lindbergh.
Wow, hot takes here from Al.
I know, man. I got them.
They also announced that you can fly the Pelican from Halo in Flight Simulator now, and also I guess you can just go to space.
Yeah, that was
sure.
weird.
Space, the final frontier. Master Chief's gonna jack off in a suit.
Oh my.
I mean, he got laid in the TV show, so.
Oh my.
I know. After that, they showed off Overwatch 2, which, man, people did not like that beta they put out recently.
Oh, really?
Everyone was kind of like, yeah, this is just Overwatch 1.5. But they mentioned that like the multiplayer is going to be free to play. If you have original Overwatch, you'll get some goodies on your account because of that. The PvE stuff that they're doing with Overwatch 2, I think, is going to be like the stuff you pay for. And obviously they're going to have like loot boxes and all that sort of stuff as well. And then they showed off like a new hero that they're adding to the game. And that's that. They're doing like an open beta for that game pretty soon, I think. So, yeah, it's Overwatch. After that, they showed off a game called Ara History Untold. So you could be like, Ara at this game. I think, was this like a Civ game? Because I remember there was like a Civ game that showed up here.
Yeah.
I think this is the Civ-like game.
I think so.
So yeah, that's that. They showed off the Elder Scrolls Online new expansion High Isle, where you can go get high. You don't, but you can go play a card game. They're a children's card game. Because that's what everyone wants to do. After that, they showed off a new expansion for Fallout 76, which is, yep, that's still happening, where you're going to get to go to the pit. People still play that game, I guess. Even though you really don't hear much about it. After that, they showed off the first expansion for Forza Horizon 5 or 6, or whatever the latest Forza Horizon game is, which is another Hot Wheels expansion.
Mm-hmm.
You want to drive your anime cars on a Hot Wheels track, you can totally do that.
Woo!
They showed a brief trailer for Arc 2 where you got to see a brief look at Vin Diesel on a dinosaur. Because, you know, Arc is all about family.
Nice.
Thank you. They showed off a new trailer for Scorn, which is just disgusting.
Is this the one I had to look away from?
Yes, this is like the just tentacle horror game, and it's just like gross and grody. It's just disgusting. This game's just gross. They showed off Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, which I think is like a PC game or something that's coming to consoles or something. I don't know. Something like that. I know a lot of people were kind of excited for it. I'm just like, sure. This is the thing. Minecraft Legends is a new Minecraft spin-off game that is essentially like an RTS Minecraft game.
Right.
RTS/action or something like that. Cause sure, I mean, a lot of people I think played that other Minecraft spin-off game and enjoyed it, so got to make more of those for sure. They showed off Lightyear Frontier, which I do not remember what this is at all, so I'm going to click the link and see what it is again.
I remember thinking that this had something to do with like Buzz Lightyear, but it does not.
Oh, this is like the mech farming game.
Oh, right.
It's like it's a farming game, but also you just have a mech. And it's like, all right, sure.
Why not?
That's interesting. Gunfire Reborn is another game. I'm guessing this is like a mobile game or something that is getting booted up to big consoles. It has like animal characters and you're like shooting with animal characters or some stuff like that.
Yes.
After that, they showed the last case of Benedict Fox.
This one looked cool.
Yeah.
I'd play that.
A phantasmagorical Lovecraftian Metroidvania. that is a word soup.
Yep. That sure is a word soup.
But yeah, that looked interesting. After that, they showed As Dusk Falls, which is a narrative adventure game, but like something about the way that animation is on that game is just weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were going for there.
Yeah.
It's like weird. Okay, this is going to be a strange comparison. Um, in some of the Yakuza games where they do like the slideshow type
Right.
cutscenes, it's like that, but blurry.
It's like they're trying to do stop motion, but they don't know how to do stop motion.
Yes, yes, exactly.
It's just it looks so weird. I don't know about it. Like yeah, it's weird.
It's
Is the
weird.
way to say it. But yeah, it's an adventure game that's coming out at some point on Game Pass because like everything on this is coming out on Game Pass essentially. Naraka Blade Point is another I think just like mobile or PC game going to consoles as well. They showed off Pertament, which is the new game from Obsidian, which is not what you'd expect an Obsidian game to look like. Where it's like it had a very distinct art style, which is like kind of hand drawn looking and all that sort of stuff. It was more just like adventure game ish. If you saw the look of it, you would probably know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was interesting looking. Just it was like you saw like and like oh this is the new game from Obsidian. You're like huh, what?
Yeah, yeah, it was unexpected.
And then Grounded's coming out of early access, but on September. So if you want to play your Honey I Shrunk the Kids and shoot bug game,
Nope,
you can play that in September.
nope.
They showed off Urabon Shadow Legacy, which I don't remember what this was at all either. Too many games.
Too many games, so many games.
Oh, this is the one that had like the cool blue lady, and you could like stab people. It was a stealth game.
I don't remember that one.
Which is interesting because like there's not a whole lot of like stealth games getting released nowadays. It feels like so.
Right, right, right.
That's cool. They showed off Diablo 4. It looks a lot like a Diablo game.
And it's a Diablo. They were like, here's a necromancer. Also, here's this critter just like chewing on somebody's innards.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Diablo.
that sure is gross. I'm gonna look away now.
Yep. Diablo. Sea of Thieves is on its 7th season. You can be a pirate captain, which I would have assumed you could already be a pirate captain in that game.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
But they're like, nah, now you can be. And it's like, oh, okay.
They made like a Bodie McBoatface joke, but I forgot what they
Yeah,
actually
they sure
said.
did.
I forgot exactly what it was, but
Because you can name your ships in that as well now.
yeah, I'm sure that's gonna end well for everybody.
Oh, definitely. They showed off Ravenlock, which is a very interesting looking game because it's like you get teleported to like this weird fantastical universe, kind of like Alice in Wonderland style.
Yeah.
But like you are like normal 3D looking, but all the characters in this world and enemies are like 2D 3D. Or like blocky and pixely kind of, but like in 3D. It's interesting looking.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah. After that, they showed Cocoon,
Cocoon.
which is a new game from one of the people who did Inside and Limbo. I feel like there's like 3 people who made Inside and Limbo, or like a handful, and like they've all gone off to do their own games.
Yeah.
This definitely didn't look like those games in particular, but like it kind of had the similar kind of style of this like isometric puzzle-y kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked interesting, looked nice. Definitely less flesh horror than there was in Inside. That's for sure.
Inside has made me salty.
Then they showed off Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is the new game from Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo, which is essentially like a third-person action game, maybe a Souls-esque kind of game, but set in the 3 kingdoms.
Do not pursue Lubu.
Do not pursue Lu Bu, but he's probably going to be pursuing you.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be pursuing you based off the trailer.
Do not pursue Lu Bu. But yeah, that was interesting. A lot of people were just like, oh, this is Neo 3. And they're like, no, sir. After that, Phil Spencer's like, hey, we're bringing some Persona games to Xbox. So you can get Persona 5 Royale this October on Game Pass and PC Game Pass, but also you can get Persona 4 Golden on Xbox and PC Game Pass, and also Persona 3 Portable
Yeah.
on Xbox and Game Pass. Those are also coming out to PS5 and Steam as well, so They're not just Xbox exclusives or anything like that. So those will probably come out. The P3P and P4G will probably come out at some point next year when they come out everywhere else. Obviously, Persona 5 is already on PlayStation. I don't know if they're going to do like a port of it for PS5 or whatnot, but that'll come to Steam probably in October as well. But yeah, P3P.
Yeah, I'm gonna date the heck out of Akihiko Sonata again.
Unsurprisingly.
I'm glad that this is getting out there on modern consoles.
Yes.
God, I love P3P. It's a
very,
very good game. This is like the moment where I was just, it's like, oh God, I feel bad because there's all these like new exciting games. And I'm like, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden.
I was very surprised that they were like, we're gonna bring Portable over. It's like, all right. Yep. But I guess like the thing with Persona 3 Fez and original Persona 3 is that like the code in that game is just janked in a way that it just is not really easy or feasible to port it to anywhere else. So just like, all right, we got Portable. It's a better game as well. So here you go.
It's fine because you have FMC, and so like that's all you need, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lie. I like the original version of the game too, but it has that, and it has that version of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only negative of that entire thing is Sun.
Well, also there's someone in the voice cast that is a real big piece of shit, so that's also a negative. Which I wonder if they're going to do anything to that or not.
I forgot about that. Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find somebody who sounds similar enough that you could.
That would be nice.
But are they going to pay somebody to redub all those lines?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty wild announcement. And then they ended with your boy Todd Howard showing off Starfield.
He sure did.
The next Bethesda game.
Yep, it looks like a Bethesda game.
Sure looks like a Bethesda game.
Yep. I
thought the combat looked real weak. But also, like, it's still early, so they can tune that stuff up. But just it looked weird and not great. The facial models also just looked like they were straight out of Fallout 4.
So, yeah, like, they did not look good.
Great if you're thinking like, oh, they really improved this engine. It's like, oh, I don't know about that.
It did not look good.
They talked about how there's like 1,000 planets or something, and like I feel like that's not necessarily good because like I feel like you're gonna run into instances where you're gonna go to a planet and it's just gonna be nothing there, and you're just gonna be like, why am I here? Yeah, so like it was definitely had the feels of like this is a Bethesda game mixed with a lot of stuff that they saw No Man's Sky doing, and we're like, let's put that in our video game. It's kind of just the general vibe that it felt like from this. Yeah, that game's coming out next year at some point. So they still have time to, tune it up and fix it. But the one good thing about it is that it's going to be on Game Pass. So you don't necessarily have to, like, fork over $70 to try the new Bethesda game and see if it's going to be good or if it's going to be a buggy mess.
Right.
Like they usually are at launch. So there is that benefit to it. But also, like, it wasn't necessarily the most impressive showing, especially when you think of like, this is the new Bethesda game.
Right. And especially like when you have that much airtime, like I would want to see some impressive stuff.
Right.
But
they showed off a Bethesda game.
Yep, and it was a Bethesda game.
I think they also came out today and were like, hey, we're in pre-production on Elder Scrolls 6.
Yep.
And also, after that, Fallout 5 is coming.
Yep.
So look forward to those in, like, the 2030s.
Woo!
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Then after that, we watched the Capcom showcase, which they were basically out in front saying, hey, we're talking about games already announced. Don't really expect new game announcements here.
Right.
Temper your expectations, as one might say. But yeah, Capcom. They showed off the Monster Hunter Rise expansion Sunbreak. That's coming out in a little bit. There's a demo out for it, and they basically showed off, hey, there's some monsters that are coming back. You can fight these fellas. We also got a roadmap of stuff we're going to put in the game over the next year. Monster Hunter. It's a Monster Hunter game, yeah. They briefly showed Street Fighter 6 and were like, hey, we're making this game. Also, we're just not going to talk about it. We've talked about it enough. Wait until we talk about it again. Deal with it. They kind of also briefly showed the Capcom Fighting Collection, which is coming out pretty soon. And then also Capcom Arcade Stadium 2, and you can also get Street Fighter 2 for the first Capcom Arcade Stadium right now for free. They showed off Exo Primal, their dinosaur game, which really had the feel of like an Xbox 360 game. It was like, what if we took Lost Planet and EDF and merged them and put dinosaurs in it? Like, it seems fine.
Seems fine.
I don't know if it's like, I would pay $70 for this fine.
No.
But like, it's like, yeah, this looks okay. Like, it doesn't look terrible. It's just, they had the dude from Dragon's Dogma come in with his cool Dragon's Dogma baseball jersey and be like, hey, we're going to do a video in a couple of days about the 10th anniversary of Dragon's Dogma. You thought we were going to announce a sequel? Psych! Take that. And then they're like, hey, we got some Resident Evil stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Which also was the first unveiling of the Resident Evil 8 DLC.
Yeah.
Which is about the dude in that game's daughter, and it's
Rose.
a long time in the future, and she goes to a dream world or something and has to fight people or some stuff. I don't know. We haven't played that game, so the whole presentation is like, yeah,
Well,
okay, yep,
I watched my brother play it, so I know what's going on.
I haven't, so I was just like, okay, yep, sure.
Yeah, I guess you have not watched my brother play it.
I have not watched your brother play it.
Okay, so we have a solution to this problem.
We'll wait for October when the DLC comes out, and when they also put out some other things along with Resident Evil 8, including you can play as new characters in Mercenaries mode, like Beefy Chris Redfield.
Yeah.
And the big lady.
The big lady, Lady D.
Yeah. And also, they're putting in third-person mode.
Which solves the issue. I can play Resident Evil 8. You can watch me play it in third person.
Which is wild, because like I think there was a mod for Resident Evil 7 on PC that was like a third-person camera. Like, it was okay. It wasn't like the best thing, but like there was a mod that they did for that. So for them to be like, okay, let's just do this for this. It's kind of wild, but like that DLC is like third person only as well, so I guess it makes sense why they would, just put that work into the main game as well. But it's cool that they're doing that, so you could play it. You can have two different experiences with that game if you want, or like if you've played it already, you can go back and replay it and have like just an entirely new viewpoint of it.
It's super rad. I'm excited about that because, like, the game itself is fine. Like, it's pretty cool, but I could not play it, and now I can play it because it's not first person.
Yeah. All that stuff is coming out in October. They're putting out some more stuff as well for like Resident Evil Reverse, which they're still trying to make that a thing.
Yep.
They basically showed off the same trailer for Resident Evil 4 again that they showed off at Sony, except for like I think one bonus, little very small piece of footage. But really it was just like, hey, this is what you've already seen. And then they talked about those PS5 next gen, or I guess current gen versions of RE7 and the RE2 and 3 remakes. Those are out now. So if you want to play through those again with some fancier looking textures and also just like ridiculous looking load times, because apparently you can just like boot up that game at the start and just like a second later you're in the game.
Wow.
It's pretty fast, but like, yeah, that's the current gen consoles for you.
Yeah, I should grab the RE2 one.
Yeah. So those are out now. You can play those, and that was Capcom for you. Like we said, very short little presentation. Just like they were out in front of us saying, "Hey, this is not going to be a huge surprise bonanza," except for like the RE8 DLC and the Monster Hunter DLC. Like those were kind of new, and the Exo Primal stuff. But everything else is kind of like known-ish. But it was okay.
It was fine.
Yeah. I believe basically that's everything that we watched.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was trying to look through these and be like, is there anything else that we missed or anything? I don't know. I mean, there was a game at the PC gaming show called, where was it? Agent 64, Spies Never Die, which is a GoldenEye spiritual successor.
God.
Which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
And apparently they had just like a very close knockoff Bond theme in it as well.
Oh my God, really?
Which is also pretty good. But yeah, that's basically it. Like we said, there may be more stuff coming out over the month because, like, that's just the way these kind of things go. That Final Fantasy thing is later this week as we're recording this. So maybe if there's anything from that, we'll talk about it. Like I said earlier, we'll talk about that next week. And if there's any other presentations, we'll talk about those. If there's anything that warrants, talking about them and anything. But that's basically the summer of video games bonanza extravaganza, the key threes for
Temper your
2022. Yes. But get your expectations up next year because when E3's back, baby.
Oh my God.
Oh, so apparently the website for those Persona
It updated.
ports are updated. So Persona 5 Royale is getting a PS5 and Steam port. And then P4G and P3P are PS4. Not current gen, which I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to do a whole lot of work to those to really make them bump up in terms of like doing the work to make them really all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it does say they're going to have like Xbox Series X and S versions of those. So I don't know. Who knows? Either way, that's going to do it for this week, essentially. A lot of video game talk because that's what this time of year does for you.
Yep.
So, yeah. If you would like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, a critical analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus content as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we'll have something else to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know what yet, but it'll be something.
We'll find something.
We'll find something. So look forward to that next week. And also, remember, enjoy your gaming.
Temper your expectations.